Welcome back to Inside the 40 podcast. This is Mike Murphy. Our man Canyon is moving towards what's the word I'm looking for, Mike? A contributor role. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Check out T&D Takeover. He's got a big college thing. We don't want to have him just focus on UT. He's kind of blowing that up over there. But excited to announce our guy, Mike Hardge, is joining Inside the 40 podcast. Some of you might know Mike from his days in the 254, playing high school baseball and football out in Killeen, then going off to the minors and majors, playing baseball. And you might hear him on the radio here, maybe on 1300 The Zone back in the day. I think now you're on the Ticket in San Antonio. Welcome to the show, Mike Hardge.
Thanks for having me, Mike. I mean, this is a fun time and everything's exciting right now, and everybody's excited for what is to expect at the University of Texas. And I'm just ready to be a part of this and continue to move forward, man. Let's see what's happening.
Let's go. So tell everybody, you were going to play at Texas, right? For baseball?
Absolutely. I signed out of high school. I had a lot of football offers as well, but my first love was obviously baseball. I was coming to the University of Texas, and you only come to the University of Texas if you're all about championships, and that was the reason why I was coming here in 1990. There was a lot of talent at the university. Coach Gustafson was a big fan of mine, and I was a big fan of the University of Texas. And when a team goes to the World Series, even back then, because when I was coming in 1990, it would seem like it was every year. It was every year. And unfortunately, but fortunately for me, I got drafted in the second round. If I had told every professional team during that time, I said, if I'm drafted in the fifth round or later, I'm going to the University of Texas. I was drafted in the second round, so I stayed true to my word. But I've always been a Longhorn fan. I bleed burnt orange. My family knows that. My friends know that. And I'm just excited for everything that's happening at the university right now.
Yeah, man, big things going on. Speaking of that, let's just jump right into it. Solid win by the University of Texas. The Coach Sark era is officially underway. 38-18 win over a top 25 program. A lot of people are saying, oh, well, I don't know, they should have been ranked and they're in a lower conference and this and that. What did you think of the overall game and coaching that we saw versus what we were getting the past, 8 years with the past two regimes?
That's funny. As I sit back and I watch it, we have to be cautiously optimistic on everything that we expect, right? You're paying attention to what's going on. You're paying attention to what's being said. But most importantly, you're trying to figure out, how can I look at this football team and not be, number one, head over heels, number two, very critical of everything that's going on. But most importantly, look at it as an objective observer, to not have your burnt orange goggles on, right? So let's look at what happened during the game. There were some ups, some downs, some highs, some lows, some good things that might have happened during the game, and some questionable things that happened during the game. So when you look at what was expected from Hudson Card, everybody, the story of the spring was, who's going to be the starting quarterback, what's going to happen to the University of Texas, who's going to be the players that are going to make plays. I thought Hudson Card came out and played a admirable football game. Now, do we put him in the category of, oh my God, he's the savior of UT athletics? No, we don't put him there. There's still a bunch of questions. The one thing that you said that I'm sitting here looking at is when people were trying to figure out what to expect from the Texas football team. The question that everybody had was, oh, Texas better be ready to play against Louisiana Lafayette. That's a team that is going to shock the world. Say, might be it. And I'm like, no, the problem that the University of Texas has had, and you alluded to it a second ago, was the coaching. The coaching is the biggest difference. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm giving Coach Sark and his staff a huge, huge pass right now. And the reason why I'm giving them a huge pass, and I don't mean that in a negative way, is I'm going to give him the credit that he deserves because of the simple fact that he brought in coaches that were not like his best friends. This isn't one of those situations where everybody's going to be like, oh, Coach Sark brought in his buddy that was at the community college down the street. Coach Sark's bringing in his buddy that was at a lower Division II school. No, he brought in guys that had skins on the wall, and the coaching staff is what I'm paying the most because development, the next movement, and what's happening next at the University of Texas. Yes, we can look at what happened in the game and say, oh, they did this, they did that. But at the end of the day, we got to continue to look at what is this coach going to bring. In-game situations are the biggest thing that I was looking at. What about you, Mike?
Man, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a grade. I'm going to give them an A, right? It wasn't perfect. The offensive line had some issues. We're going to.
You being nice then if you give them an A.
Well,
I got you.
Think about this, man. Look at the last, coaching regimes we've had from Charlie Strong to Tom Herman. You had opened up back-to-back losses with Maryland, right? I don't even know if Herman won his first game at all. Maybe one.
El Paso, when they beat El Paso, that was a win. Yeah.
But this is the thing, like UT came out and beat the team that they were supposed to beat and beat them handedly, right? The first half was a little iffy, with the first series we went 3-and-out. You're wondering, oh man, is Hudson going to be the guy? Is he going to be able to do this? And I think Sark and that staff put them in situations to be successful. And I don't know if we would have said that if we had other coaches here in the past. That's why I'm giving him an A versus I'm also, like you said, with these like burnt orange glasses. Right now, this is like the super hot girl that's like talking to you and you're like, oh, damn. And like she's texting you back and you're like texting her and she's showing you a little bit of interest. And you're like, all right, cool. Like, then when she doesn't respond to you, you start getting nervous. You're like, why isn't she talking to me anymore? What's going on? That's where we're at right now. We're going to see, right? Obviously, the talent level at Arkansas is going to be different than at Louisiana, Monroe. But I think, overall, man, A-, A. I mean, like, they get an A. You really want to give it an A-. Maybe they there's stuff they could have done. The defense played well. They were getting sacks. They were running around the ball. Hell, up until towards the end of the game, they'd only given up like 12 points, which is great. Special teams played well. And overall, like, when's the last time you saw a wide open pass of a running back just coming out of the backfield, walked in for a 25-yard touchdown? It's been a while. Right. So the play calling was good. The quarterback was good. So speaking of that, let's transition into the quarterbacks, right? So we, all week Sark said, they're both going to play. A reporter here in Austin broke the news before Sark could. I thought that was a little childish on their part. They want to be the guy. That's who they are. It is what it is. Watching both of them play, do you feel that Hudson Card is the starter and should be, or do you feel Casey did enough to where maybe it's still 1A, 1B?
I get asked this question a lot, and I actually got this conversation earlier today, and there was two variant, quote unquote, thoughts that were in that room. One was all in on Casey, another one was not all in. One was all in on Hudson Card, the other one was all in on Casey, and at the end of it all, I said I was still. And hear me out on this. I was still in the corner of Casey just because of experience. Just hear me out. But I was all in, as I told everyone before, in the decision that Coach Sark made. I thought Hudson Card played a great game, mentally wise. He threw balls away when he didn't have to try to force a ball into the play, which goes back to probably what we heard in the spring.
During practice.
There was probably some situations where he was being extra cautious and not trying to push the ball in there. Well, then I saw him make two hell of a throws on the one to Jordan Whittington across the middle of the field where it was like 3rd and 9, and he threw an absolute bullet on the run. And then I saw him move in the pocket on the goal line, and he threw an absolute seed to Cade Brewer. Mm-hmm. So those are the elite throws that made him one of the top 4 recruits in the nation when he was coming out of high school. But then I watched what Casey did when he came in, and I don't want people to say that, he was playing against the late in the game and playing against these guys. Both teams still had their first team in the game. Both teams still had the exact same type of athlete on there. The only difference was the quarterback, and that's it. The Bijan was still in there. Rojo was still in there. Jordan Whittington was still in there. Both lines were still in there, and the secondary was in there. So if you want to base all of that on who played against the first team, who played against the second team, you really can't say that because both teams played against the first team. But Hudson Card, as of right now, is still the guy. The biggest test is this weekend because he was playing at home. It was all comfortable. Everybody was good. And we all deep down, because we were PTSD because of what we saw when we played against Maryland. And I'll bring it back to this again. The coaching at the University of Texas is built different this year. I'm not basing it on Herman. I'm not basing it on Charlie Strong. What I've seen in the track record for what Coach Sark has brought with him is solely what I'm breaking it on.
Not a lot of, hey, IOUs, why don't you come coach with me, right? You kind of alluded to it, like, we coached at JC, you let me sleep on your couch. Come on with me, I'm going to bring you with me, and we're going to make it work at the University of Texas. Sark went out and got the best of the best, man. He brought coaches from Alabama that understand the winning tradition. He got a top 3 defensive coordinator. He's got, some wide receiver coach and a running back coach that were already here, so that understand the program and the players and the difference of it. He got, defensive line coach back out of the NFL who's ringing in recruits on top of that. Like, that defensive line got after it. So I agree with you, man. I think it's Hudson Card's to lose. I think he's going to be the starter going forward, at least for the next, probably up until Tech, right? Even if he has a bad game against against Arkansas, he's going to start against Rice, and then he's going to start against Tech. And, ideally, after watching this game, we'll give our scores here at the end of what we think about the Arkansas game, what we want to see. But I think he's, from what I saw, and the level-headedness and not forcing the throws and doing all that, I think he did a great jop. I think
absolutely.
He can whip it in there, man, when he needs to. He can also throw the damn ball, 45, 50 yards to Xavier, who is it?
Worthy.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy. Sorry, I blanked there. On a dime. So I think he's, you got to remember, too, he's a redshirt freshman. You know what I mean, guys? Like, he's a redshirt freshman. So the fact that we didn't have any major mistakes there, I'm pretty impressed. Speaking of running backs, we don't have to stay on this one too much. We knew what we were going to get with the running backs. I thought Bijan was Bijan. Everything. Everybody was terrified when he went down and was laying there on the sidelines and his knees got bent backwards and he was walking like a crab. I think Rojo came in and did what Rojo does. He's going to be the solid number 2. And then I kind of was glad that transfer running back from Alabama got some carries too. They spaced it out. Sark said he's going to – everybody asked how many carries or touches Bijan was going to get. He got 24, and he made the most of it. He was the National Player of the Week. So
all over the place. Yeah,
he was all over the place. Yeah, I think – yeah. So, I mean, all in all, solid A from the running backs as well.
Yeah, I agree with you on all of that. And one thing that, you talked about the Bijan incident. When he got up and he was smiling at everybody, I was just like, man, I can't believe this dude is that flexible, because remember last year he did the freaking scorpion
He was
last
broke,
year
bro.
where,
He got
you thought he was going to be, you thought it was going to be one of those situations. Yeah, he ended up being sore. But at the end of the day, this kid continues to show up. And, you know, I'm fortunate because we got a chance to watch Ricky Williams, and I was old enough to be around Ricky when he was playing minor league baseball. So I saw the athleticism that he had. And then when he goes out and wins the Heisman Trophy and then goes and does what he does. So I got a chance to see that. I got a chance to see Barry Sanders. I got this chance when I was growing up to see the elite of the elite of the elite. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at Bijan and the way he carries himself, I had a buddy that called me and was like, hey, there's this kid that I cover every day. And he's said he's committed to Texas, and I believe he's going to go to Texas. But he has a chance to do some things that a lot of people hadn't done. And he said the only problem and the only knock that I will give him was he was playing against some private school kids that weren't on his level. There's a reason why he was averaging 15 yards a carry in high school. But then you look at him play, and I guarantee you, if they don't miss some of the blocks that they missed on the offensive line, he probably would have averaged 15 yards a carry during that game, because he's just that different. And you'll never hear him say anything bad, which I'm thankful of. Won't complain about anything. He's got the world at his feet, and he keeps giving glory to God and his teammates. Look, man, I don't care who you root for. I don't care if you like the Horns or hate the Horns. You got to support this kid because he's different.
Special. Take even like you just said. There's those players in college that you watch and you're like, I appreciate, even though I'm not a fan, I'm going to watch them play because this is they're only going to be here. He's here this year, next year he's gone. Right. So
you'll pay money to go watch.
You got 24 more games, maybe give or take with him, and then he's gone. Right. He's not coming back for his senior year. It's just not going to happen. So who am I to say that? Maybe he will. I'm sorry, Bijan. I'm not trying to talk for you. So
we ain't trying to make you leave right now, player. Go ahead and do your thing.
Please stay, Bijan. Please stay. Come to Thanksgiving dinner with the Murphys. We're right here by this. We're here. You'll go to Arizona.
We got you, bro.
Family.
We got you.
Come in with us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and cross that off. So running backs, great. Let's just go straight to the offensive line. Probably the weakest performance that we saw in the game. Obviously, some of those runs you alluded to it. Bijan probably would have had 15. There's some that he should have had probably minus 6 or 7 yards.
Exactly, and he still got positive yards out of it.
He got 3 or 4. So Also, I mean, it also thanks to like Hudson Card was quick with the release, right? So it makes me think. I mean, I don't know, man. C plus, B minus for the offensive line. I think they could do a lot.
I'm not giving them a C plus. I'm not giving them B minus. I'm giving them a C minus. And the reason why I'm telling you, yes, because I'm gonna tell you why I'm giving them that. I might even give them a C just to be fair. Here's the biggest thing for me. It's not like we have a bunch of young kids on that offensive line. That's the thing. If we had a bunch of freshmen and sophomores doing this, I would be a little bit more lenient because you did win. Bijan had a decent game running the ball. Rojo had a decent game. You only gave up 3 sacks. Some of it may have been holding too long. Some of it might have been trying to make it, there's so many things that could go into it. But when you watch the line and you watch the fact that some of them, they missed blocks or didn't even get in front of people, that's a problem. That's a problem. And this is a problem that you saw during the spring game, because remember that during the spring game, there was a lot of blowing the whistle before the quarterback could get hit and stopping them in the backfield. So the problem that I have with it is because before it was Herb Hand and there was somebody else before that, and you have to try to figure out. Now we got Kyle Flood, and I think Coach Flood is going to do a great job here.
Gonna say, yeah.
The offensive lineman, it goes back to what people have always said. When are we going to start holding these players responsible for some of the things that they've done? When you're a junior and you're a senior and you are still making the same mistakes you made as a freshman, that's not the coach's problem. That's a you problem.
Well, let's see if we don't jump from
right. No, I agree. But you asked me the question.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you asked me the question, and I will 100%. And the reason why I give them a C is because they're older. Now let's see what happens in this game moving forward. If Bijan has another great game, Hudson Card has some more time in the pocket, then we could be okay. I'll give him a B because sign of a well-coached team is week-to-week improvement.
Exactly.
So what do we look like this coming week to when they got to make the rubber meet the road?
I see. I feel you. I think I do agree. They could be better. They've been here a while. I do think it's new coaching. I want to see the improvement from week 1 to week 2.
Absolutely.
If we're talking about the same thing next week, then I'm like, all right, I'm down to a C- or a D. Right? If we give up 8 sacks, then it's like we need to readdress like everything on the offensive line.
Absolutely.
That's just the reality. All right, last on the offense, we got wide receivers, tight ends. Super excited to see Cade Brewer get involved. Can we get a slow clap for Mr. Jordan Whittington? Welcome back. You're healthy. Welcome back, my man. Welcome back. Finally showing what you can do. He was, from Herman moving him to running back to getting hurt, and then wide receiver, then getting hurt. Bring him back to number 4. I mean, one of the best numbers on the team. Like you're a stud on the offensive defense if you were 4. That's what you're supposed to be.
Yep.
So super excited about them and that. And then, I was excited for Worthy. Everything that Xavier was talked about, he showed up. I wish Josh Moore would have got involved more in the game. Couple looks here and there. I think that he's probably, getting used to the new coaching staff and this and that. But don't sleep on Josh Moore, man. Josh Moore. That kid is a stud and will be a stud. So, thoughts?
Yes, Jordan Whittington, obviously the biggest story of the weekend, him being able to go out there and complete a game, be finished in the game, and, be ready to go week 2. So that's great for us where we're not seeing him on the injury report. I know what you're saying.
Maybe that's actual like strength training in the offseason too.
Right. I mean, there's so many things that are involved in that. And then you go back to what you said about Xavier Worthy. I think he's going to be a player that can stretch the field where things can be a little bit different from him every week, and they're going to find ways to get him more involved. As far as Josh Moore, I think Josh Moore needs to be more aggressive. He needs to figure out a way to shake off the man press coverage and create space for himself. That's how you get to the next level. That's those different guys. Maybe you work a little bit harder on what you're doing in your route running and your route tree. But a guy that I want to continue to see grow, and I've been screaming for him to be a superstar, is Marcus Washington. He's somebody that if you look at him, he fits the mold. But again, he too, like Josh Moore, needs to understand the physicality in which the wide receiver position can be and how you make people miss. If you can get off, and that will help Hudson Card get the ball out of his hand. That will help Casey Thompson get the ball out of their hand to be able to make that happen. And so, yes, I think the wide receiver position does need to step up a little bit more. And again, most improvement week 1 to week 2. So I want to see what they look like after Saturday's game to the point where we can say, okay, this group figured it out, not figured it out, but made the right strides. And I guess you could say that for everybody.
Yep. I'm with you. All right, defensive side of the ball. Let's just go. We only got 3 positions there. So defensive line.
I think – go ahead.
Oh, jinx. Oh, my gosh. This is like an outside jinx. So I would probably say, man, like I love seeing sacks from not only them and the linebackers. I mean, all in all, I mean, I was impressed. I think Coach K's defense is pretty solid. Yeah. I think I don't know. I mean, maybe I've got the
I'm gonna
glasses
give the
on. There's a
defense
hot
out. You
girl.
do, you do, you
Hey,
do.
I'll give him
You're
an
at the
A.
bar with them. You were at the bar with them, so
Yeah.
you're like drinking with them, buying shots, and now all of a sudden you're like, man. When you wake up in the morning, you're gonna be like, dang, it wasn't what I thought it was. But here's the thing, and let me tell you why I think it wasn't
Please
what
don't
you
take
thought
your
it was.
makeup off.
Yeah, exactly. I think what happened with that one is they played a very vanilla defense. They didn't do exotic things. They didn't do the stunting. They didn't do the twisting. They didn't do anything to put the true pressure on there because they didn't want to show it all. So overall, I would say a B because I didn't get that. But for them to hold that team to a low output, keep them in check, to do the things that they did, I'm going to ride with them and just give them a B. Now, again, this is a different matchup against Arkansas. They're going to have to do some things differently. They're going to have to attack differently. But they have a lot of similarities to where it might be something that they can adjust to. So I'm going to give them a B. And I'm going to see what the week-to-week improvement is all about.
Man, hard on him. Hard on him.
Hey, man. Can't give out all them hundreds.
Linebackers,
You know
shout out. Welcome to the party, Mr. Brockermeyer. Glad to see you here.
Mm-hmm.
Solid performance. Obviously, our man, DeMarvion Overshown, crushed it. Agent Zero. Saw him in another interview, I think today or yesterday, and he was saying that on Thursday, if they didn't have it down, the coaches pulled out some of the plays. They're like, if you're not 100% with it, we're not going to run it. And I think that's great. That's great coaching.
That's called coaching. That's right. That's called coaching.
That's called coaching.
Yeah.
And so obviously, I'll give another A- to the linebackers. Kept the score down, and I'll just go straight to DBs and let you do both. I think the DBs didn't give up too many giant plays from what I saw. BJ Foster almost had that interception. Man, I wanted my guy to get one. Other than that, man, I thought it was all in all a solid performance from the defense, and overall solid A. I mean, they gave up 18 points, really 12, and then at the end we had some backups in there and stuff getting playing time. But solid A for the defense.
Yeah, definitely a solid day for the defense. And since you brought up the linebackers, obviously DeMarvion Overshown, 13 tackles, flying sideline to sideline. Luke Brockermeyer, 10 tackles, doing his thing. BJ Foster stepped up, made a bunch of plays, done in the secondary, made a couple plays. Ray Thornton played outstanding. Ovi played good. Jalen John. I mean, there's so many things that you could say about it. But again, I'm going to be fair with them and give them a B. Not a B minus, not a B plus.
Man, you're the worst.
Because the thing about it is we haven't seen them unleash. We got a chance to see the speed. We got the chance to see them do some different things. The thing is this: I wanted to bet Grandma's house that Texas was going to win that game.
Win or cover?
Win the game and cover. I mean, it was going to be both. Yeah. But the problem is, everybody has this, like I told you, PTSD about the things that happened before. And that is why everything hinges on this coaching staff. As you very well know, Texas has always had players. They will always get players. The development and the coaching of making these kids understand what it is going to be the biggest difference. Coach Sark has been unbelievable with the media. He's been unbelievable with his messaging, and that is what it's all about. But I want to challenge you on something, Mike, because you said something earlier about our previous regime at the University of Texas. Let's not forget Coach Herman got fired with a winning record.
Yeah, but what
I hear you.
Hang on.
He won while he was here.
Don't make me Z-snap you real quick.
Come on, bring it. Bring it.
Hang on 1 second.
Bring it.
No, the reason he got fired was coaching, and that is the ultimate reason. That's the ultimate reason. He got fired because he was a crappy coach. He brought his boys in. He was an a-hole to everybody in the system, and that culture sucked. So yeah, he got fired at 7-5, but he got fired at 7-5 because half his players wanted to transfer. They wanted out.
It was 7-3. 7-3.
So it was a COVID year. It would have been 7. We had 2 other games. He also right. And so even then it makes it better. Like the game when we lost to Oklahoma State. Was it Oklahoma State or West Virginia or whoever it was at home? Like you were up and then this is the thing that he would do, man. What did you see us? We didn't get too conservative until the very end of the game, right? Herman would have got conservative at like 10 minutes left in the third if he was up by a touchdown. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Okay, yeah. He got fired because of coaching, not so. Yeah, I'm allowed to say after this previous regime and the BS that he built up and put all your chips in and give me your poker chip I gave you. Get out of here, man. Like I'm all about you, Coach. I think I hope you're doing well, but I just you can't bring your boys to the show if they ain't ready to party, right?
I'm riding with you, dog. I'm riding with you. But I'm just saying he did get fired with a winning season. So
right, but he didn't get fired because there were bigger issues. Also, let's just recap all that situation while we're talking about it. Sark, was at Alabama. They said coming out. Now we know Texas is going to the SEC. We didn't even talk about that. We're just recapping games.
Yeah.
Playing our SEC opponent. You don't think that they knew they were going to the SEC 8 months ago? They're like,
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no because
they've been talking about it for a year, Mike.
But again, I would say a lot of people knew, but not enough people knew because
you think Hartzell and Del Conte knew for about a year?
Absolutely.
So who makes the calls on the coaches?
Well. Oh, yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm getting at here?
Yeah,
they knew it wasn't going to be Herman.
No, they was already done with him for a while.
So when they were like, oh, we're going to keep him, and then it was like, oh, shit, this SEC.
He said we're going to keep him till we're not.
Right. But still.
I hear you. They were
going to the SEC, and then they went out, and this is all speculation. I have no idea. But if it was my guess and a calculated man that I am, I would say that probably they knew. And they were like, shit, well, let's go get the number one offensive coordinator in the SEC that we're going to go to. Oh, by the way, who do we play next year or this year, next year? Even without being there, the next 3 years, you got Arkansas, then you got Alabama at home, then you're at Alabama. So
Broyles Award winner, by the way, as the best assistant coach in the nation.
Exactly.
But you know who else was that? Tom Herman.
Yeah, he also had Zeke.
Yeah, but hey, Sark had a bunch of guys over there too.
Yeah,
just FYI. And I got drafted this year.
Sark went to Texas, not Houston. I'm just gonna throw that out there too. I'm sorry, man. I was all in on Herman. Maybe Herman should have gone to LSU, bro. All right. So speaking of the SEC,
let's go.
Are you going to, when Texas is in the SEC, will you be one of those guys that chants SEC in support of the other SEC?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to be looking for a new host.
Absolutely not. Ever. I mean, I've never been shouting Big 12. I've never been shouting UT, none of that stuff. I mean, I'm there. I watch the game. I'm very supportive of everything. I'm very critical, and I'm conscious of everything that I do. But listen, man, at the end of the day, I'm not going to run around like I'm going to send you a picture in a minute. I'm not going to be running around like that dude with a half shirt on talking about SEC on my belly. No, I ain't got time for that with a half shirt. Only you wear half shirts.
Ain't nobody want to see you in that half shirt with a belly. We want to see, hey, man, we got a Peloton. Been fasting. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I have lost a little bit of weight. We appreciate the support.
My man.
So no, I would never. Did you see the A&M video where they were?
Oh yeah.
They went through and did like every school. Oh, how embarrassing! How embarrassing!
But that's the thing that I keep talking about. At the end of the day, man, you can't be that person, man. You can't be that. You know,
Listen, UT fans are pretty confident. You know what I mean? They're pretty cocky, but they have reason to be. Going humble. We're probably not going to win a lot of games unless we start getting some recruits and winning some of these battles that we're losing to A&M right now. But all right, let's get into the Archie game real quick.
okay.
Arkansas Razorbacks. Texas travels there. 6:00 Central Time kickoff. What are we expecting? What do you want to see? And give me your final score.
I actually want to see exactly what I saw this past weekend. Ball control, being able to move the chains, and continuing to move the chains. Texas is a team that until you get everything lined up perfectly once we get to conference, you have to just win these football games and control the game. I think they're bigger. I think they're stronger, and I think they're definitely better coached. They're going to go up against a fast offense with Kendall Briles being the offensive coordinator. They got a good athletic quarterback. They've got some guys that can go out there and run around and make plays, but it's still Texas's game. I think Texas is way ahead of what people think they are. And I bring it back to the coaching. I think Coach Sark and his staff puts together an unbelievable game plan under control, and Texas wins by more than the spread. I am going to go 38-17 Texas.
38-17 Texas.
Yeah.
Writing that down. Kendall Browse. I didn't know he was at Arkansas. Where was he at last? Where was he at last? Ole Miss?
He was at Florida Atlantic. Yeah.
He's in Florida Atlantic, but then he went somewhere at Florida State or Florida or something like that.
Yeah, he was at Florida State, and then he went over to Arkansas.
I'm not worried about Kendall Browse. Kendall Browse can't. He doesn't know how to play against UT. And that dude went to UT before he transferred to his dad.
Before you get into that, breaking news. While we're on air, the presidents of the Big 12 have all rubber stamped the invites to BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF by Friday. So you can go into your prediction. I just wanted to make sure that we know that Texas and Oklahoma are going to have to pay that money. So all the money that they thought they were going to be able to walk from, they're going to have to write a check. So we'll get your comment on that, Mike. But first, go into your conversation right now.
That's our breaking news sound. I don't know, man. I mean, Mike's taking phone calls about this right now. So, yeah, so here's my thought about that. One, the Big 12 is a dead conference anyway. Bringing in Cincinnati, bringing in Houston, bringing in UCF. And the biggest one they're going to get is BYU, right? If you're bringing in BYU, you probably should have tried to bring in Boise State. I think that would have helped you out. I understand they're not a big TV market, but that is a good fan base and a good team. So, best of luck. They're probably going to go out. I wonder, but now the question is, the rumor was there's going to be 22-23 when Texas and Oklahoma are going to leave. If they're getting these other teams coming in, when will that speed up the process, or will it not speed up? Will it slow it down now that, there's not, if these other teams disbarred, it'd be less money they have to pay out. So, is it if it has a full team that it's less money they have to pay out?
No, they got to pay everything now. They got
Texas $175 million.
Yeah, they got Texas and Oklahoma both got to spend all their money to spend it out because the league is going to stay alive because of that.
Well, are they still a Power 5 though, or do you think they go to a mid-major?
No, they'll definitely be a Power 5. I would consider them a Power 5. Let's not forget Cincinnati just played in the BCS. I mean, not BCS, New Year's Six Bowl. Yeah. BYU is definitely going to be one of those teams that is going to be in the mix. But at the end of the day, there's going to be super conferences that are going to be formed here pretty soon. Yeah, so, it won't be a power anything. It'll be super conference with 12 teams in the playoffs.
They won't ever get – I don't think the Big 12 is going to get a
if you get 12 in, they'll get 12 in. If they get 12 in, they're going to be in.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Well, maybe they go to 12 now with that to try to help even things out. All right, Arkansas game. I want to see UT go in there and just lay a fucking ass whooping. Excuse my language on it. I want to make sure that they are just going in hard and playing tough. Go, balls to the wall, whatever it is you want to call it. Zero mistakes or limit the mistakes from there. And then after that, I want to see a good game. Don't turn the ball over. Let's not give up a ton of sacks. No major injuries. That's the biggest thing I want to see. No major injuries. I was going to say 34-24 Texas. That was going to be my score. So
Okay.
34-24 Texas, the good guys. And I think we walk out of there with a win. Mike, congratulations. You have completed your first episode of Inside the 40 podcast. Tell
Thank
us
you for
your final
having
thoughts.
me. I am so excited about the future of this podcast. Thank you, Inside the 40. Thank you, Mike Murphy. And hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em all day long. Guys, thank you so much for joining Inside the 40 podcast. We will be back next week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, give us a shout. Let us know on social media. Mike, tell the people where they can find you.
At Hardball Hardge on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find me at Mike Hardball Hardge on Facebook.
Still rocking the Facebook. That's how you know
Hey,
Mike's
man. Yeah. I seen your stuff on there, Mr.
birthdays.
Last Dance.
Happy birthdays. Happy birthdays, everybody's. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. Let's go, Horns. We'll talk to you guys soon. Hook 'em.
1,